This is John from the University Skills Academy, and today we're going to look at multivariable analysis part 1. The reason why we do this is so that you can assign numeric values to non-numeric items, and it allows you to compare apples to oranges and have a legitimate numeric value at the end of it. Some years ago, as a brand new graduate, I had a decision to make regarding my employment. I was in a job, a very good job that paid 35 grand. I had a job offer on the table of 65,000 and another job offer on the table of $125,000. Now immediately when you look at this, people would say, well, there is no choice to make. It's made for you. Under most circumstances, yes, but not always. I'm a family man, and I had other things to consider other than the dollars. I had to consider the dollars as a family man. I had to consider the family, and I also took into account job satisfaction. So these are the multiple variables that I am analysing. Okay, we are a single car family by choice, and the job that paid $35,000 had me moving around a metropolitan area, training in different locations, and I needed the family car to go to those different locations and carry with me learning materials, etc. And that required a little bit of coordination between my darling wife and myself to see who could have the car for when. So not a biggie, but say give it a rank of a score of 5 out of 10. The job that paid $65,000 was in an office near a train station, and there would be no need for me to use the family car if I was travelling. If I was travelling in that job, it would be with an aeroplane, so a taxi to the airport and a hire car or a driver at the other end. So a little bit better. No need to coordinate the use of the car. Next, this job was on an oil rig, which would require me to be away from home for 3 weeks at a time, and that came in at -3. So when that came in, I was saying, but darling, look at this, and not only will I be away from home for 3 weeks continuously, but I'll be home for 3 weeks continuously. And that kind of went from -3 to -39 when I said that, for illustration and teaching purposes only, of course. Okay, job satisfaction. Well, with this job I was teaching people how to save lives and empowering people to potentially turn a very bad day into a very good day. And that level of empowerment with people you'd not met before, it was a top job. So I'd give it 11 out of 10. However, I am an IT graduate and I was not using my degree. So in reality, the satisfaction of working hard and earning a degree and then using that degree, I'd have to swap over. Now, if you've ever seen the inside of a radio room on a rig, I'm told, reliably, that it's not as good as a prison cell. You get to be locked up in a room all day, having to use the internal phone system to order your meal and to have a bathroom break, etc. And you live by the lights of radar screens and anything at all to do with paperwork on the rig, it's your baby. So let's be generous and give that a 1. Okay, there's a couple of things we need to observe here to start with. Firstly, this number here is so much bigger than anything else on the board. It doesn't really matter what we do with the numbers as it stands, it's going to be an issue because it will skew everything. If I tried to graph this, that 120,000 compared to everything else would be a huge spike, and everything else on an XY graph would be bordering down around 0. Okay. Similarly, that is such a big number compared to these in the opposite direction that it's an issue and you've got to address it. So how we address this is we apply something not dissimilar from a family democracy where there's a vote over a decision and the kids get a vote, but mum and dad get more votes. So mum and dad's votes are weighed, so not counted. What we do here, so that the adult's decision gets much heavier weight than the children's decision, and the adults get what they want. That's how it works. So, or it did in my family when I was growing up, if we ever had a vote. So what we're going to do here, to get around this huge number and this huge number in the opposite direction, is we'll just rank these values. And this is how we legitimately compare apples to oranges. So that's the highest number. We go 3 because there's 3 variables. That's the middle number. We go 2, and that's the lowest number. That one there is the highest number, so it gets a score of 3. That gets a score of 2. That gets a score of 1. That's the highest number, so it gets a score of 3. That gets a score of 2. That gets a score of 1. And look at this. I ended up taking the teaching job in the office, despite the fact that that was way off the charts, because my other values, my other variables in this, outweighed it. Okay? The other competing factors outweighed the dollars in this circumstance. So, let's look at what we've done here. We can now shrink that and go here. Now, ideally, this decision-making process is best done with a friend or a colleague and a whiteboard, with a friend doing the questioning on what your considerations are and then questioning you about your values and writing it down in front of you. The process allows the assignation of numerical values to non-numerical items, for example, job satisfaction. How do you score job satisfaction compared to dollars? Or family requirements. Okay, and this way it allows you to compare apples and oranges by giving them a numerical value, and you do this by assigning a rank or a value as opposed to the actual dollar figure that came out of the wash or whatever the previously set number is, and that's how you compare apples to oranges. Alright, this has been John from the University Skills Academy. In the next session we'll do an example on what job should I choose, or what school should I go to, what career path should I take, and then with that you'll be able to extend upon that and do your own examples. Thanks for your time and trouble. I'll see you in the next lesson.